Hi, and welcome to this episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty, and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the land and airwaves of Naarm where this conversation takes place. Land which was never ceded. Land where communities came together to eat seasonally, locally and without exhausting resources. I pay my respects to the elders past and present and to any First Nations people listening today. Today I'm talking to Pieter Buijsse at Bar Carolina. I have a special place in my heart for Bar Carolina in South Yarra because I wrote about it for Concrete Playground when it opened in 2017, and I also had a conversation with the chef at the time, Paolo Masciopinto. But I hadn't been out the back before. And when new head chef Pieter suggested going out through the kitchen to his office, I was thrilled. Walking out through the action is my idea of a good time. Happily wedged into the tiniest office I've ever seen, with a cup of espresso and a chef who started working in restaurants at the age of 12, I was hanging off Pieter's every word. Pieter grew up in Holland, 5 minutes from the Belgian border, eventually working his way through a 2- and then 3-star Michelin restaurant before meeting Aussies in South America and deciding Melbourne would be the next adventure. 10 years on, with senior roles at Point Leo Estate and Jackalope under his belt, as well as being part of the 2022 Melbourne Food and Wine Festival's 30 Under 30, Pieter is firmly part of the Melbourne culinary landscape. This was a great chat. Pieter is articulate and knowledgeable, and I had the best time. Hi, how are you,
Pieter,
Jo?
nice to meet you.
Yeah.
How are you going?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Busy day today?
Yeah, pretty busy. Yeah, what about you?
Yeah, not too bad. It was really busy for lunch actually, so it's good. It's good.
I'm a bit early, so I can wait.
Oh, that's
until
fine.
you're-
That's fine. It's actually good for me.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Do you want a coffee?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. What would you like?
Just a short black, please.
Emanuele. All right.
So this isn't my first time to Bar Carolina, but
Oh, really?
This is my first time out the back.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not as glamorous out here though.
Yeah, I was really interested to see what you're doing because you've been down on the peninsula, which is really amazing. But,
Yeah.
And you obviously 30 under 30.
Yeah.
Was that 2022?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. 2022. Yeah.
So you and you don't have a very strong accent. So.
No. I've been hanging around all these bogans for too long.
So I also read. Do you say Pieter or?
Yeah, just Pieter.
Yeah. That you started at a really young age, so like 12.
Yeah, at the age of 12, I just, the story I've been telling everyone as well is that I want a new pair of soccer boots, and my dad said, look, I bought you a pair last year, how about if you want a new pair, you go and actually work for it, and you can make the money yourself and buy your own soccer boots. So that's how I started as a kitchen hand in a restaurant near where I grew up. And just working in the kitchen and hanging out with the boys. It was interesting. It was really hard work, but I loved it.
Also 12, are they not labour laws? Different to the Netherlands?
Well, I'm not sure if I on a podcast should be telling this, but I think there is. But
look, I suppose people do paper rounds here.
Yeah.
So
and it was only a couple hours a week. It wasn't on a full-time contract at the age of 12, but
so that's not Amsterdam, that's the countryside.
No, it's the south near the Belgian border. So I grew up pretty much 5 minutes from the Belgian border.
Okay. Yeah, wow. And did you just keep doing that throughout school, or how?
Yeah, so the schooling system works a little bit different in Holland. So actually at the age of 12 you can choose a profession that you want to do. So you say I want to become a chef, you can go to culinary school at the age of 12. 3 days a week you just do like your maths, your English, your history and all those kind of subjects, and then 2 days a week you actually work in a kitchen cooking for the other students.
Yeah.
And then by the time you're 18 years old you are fully qualified, ready to go into the world and start working as a chef.
Do you think Dutch kids are a lot more mature than Australian and New Zealand children? Because I feel like 12 seems really early to decide what you're going to do.
Oh, kids are kids.
I want to be an astronaut.
Yeah. I don't think it was like a very specific, more mature, but maybe. I think it's just you're very lucky at that age if you already know what you want to do and what you want to become. And this was also the era where MasterChef was coming up, and everybody saw the chefs on TV, Gordon Ramsay, Jamie Oliver, all these guys were becoming very popular. So the school actually grew enormously in a couple of years' time just from that exposure on television. Which also means that if you actually do start going to culinary school, you realise it's not like it is on telly.
Yeah.
There's not one big clock hanging in the kitchen and then you've got 1 hour and you make one dish and afterwards we all high five and hug each other. It's also just, here's 20 kilos of onion and start peeling.
Yeah. So you're doing that 2 days a week?
Yeah.
From what age? From
12.
From 12?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And then, so that was on a boarding school as well. So
Right.
Monday to Friday I would be there, and Friday night I would come home, drop my bag with all the laundry off at home, say hi to mum, go to the restaurant, start working Friday night, and then Saturday and Sunday work all day both days, and then Monday back to school.
And can you remember when it was your little 12-year-old self, did you love it? Was it hard? Were you...
Yeah, no, it was great. It was hard, but that was kind of the charm of it as well. I saw all these 20-something-year-old guys in the kitchen swearing and yelling at each other and, after work having beers and smoking Marlboro Reds, and I'm like, oh my God, you guys are so cool. I want to be one of you.
Oh, wow.
So,
yeah. And what sort of things were you cooking early on?
Well, I was working as a kitchen hand mainly at the start and then just helping out a little bit, washing the salad, peeling the onions. In school, you cook for your other students. So the days where you have theoretical classes, you have a 2-hour lunch break every day. So you go to a restaurant and get a 4-course meal, entree, soup, main course and dessert. And then the other students are cooking that. So then the other days where you're cooking, they're coming to have lunch.
Oh, wow.
That's
full on. I mean, is your family very culinary?
Not specifically, to be honest. My mum likes cooking, but I think growing up it was never... They had their own business. I have an older brother as well, so I think for them it was always rushing around and make sure there's some kind of dinner on the table at 6 o'clock. So there wasn't really any culinary experience there. But yeah, I thought, if I'm going to have some kind of a job as a young kid just to make some extra pocket money, you can either go work in the supermarket stocking shelves, that seemed boring to me, or, doing a paper round. But I thought, what, in a kitchen sounds like fun. And, yeah.
And was it a Michelin restaurant?
Yeah, so that's a 2 Michelin star restaurant in Holland, yeah.
Yeah. So you were there for a few years?
Yeah, so I worked there for probably about 5 years.
Wow.
Started off as a kitchen hand, just washing the dishes, and then later on you get a little bit more involved, washing some salads and peeling the onions, and then the more you do, the more you can learn and get to see, so yeah.
So that sort of, is it French fine dining, or is it Dutch fine dining?
Yeah, Dutch cuisine is not very renowned. I think the Dutch cuisine has a lot of influence from France, so most, especially the Michelin star restaurants in Holland, have a very strong French identity. And then the restaurant where I was at, they specialize a lot in seafood and local produce, a lot of vegetables, not so much meat, also because the area doesn't have a lot of meat, maybe a little bit of lamb here and there, but not very known for beef or anything like that. And we were right at the water, so it made a lot of sense to have a more seafood based menu. And they have a big veggie garden out the back, so they grew 50% of their produce in terms of vegetables there as well.
What was the name of that place?
The Krommelwatergang, which is going to be a very nice one to pronounce for everyone.
Yeah. I'm not going to pronounce it, but
I can write it down for you.
You write it down for me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've got a bit of German and French, but not so good. Yeah. And was it a stressful kitchen or a harmonious kitchen? I guess with 2 Michelin stars, I sort of imagine there's a pressure.
There's a lot of pressure. It was a, I wouldn't say a rough kitchen. It was a nice working environment. Not the horror kitchens from the telly, but there was definitely a pressure there. And it was you had to work hard and you had to work properly, especially in service. head down and do what you need to do. So yeah.
And so apart from the cool factor of like smoking the Marlboro Reds and the and all of that kind of stuff, what was it about that environment that you thought, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, I think it's for me, it's working with the produce, fresh produce, the fisherman that comes in with his beautiful catches of the day. I always knew I wanted to do something creative, I suppose, but I'm terrible at drawing. I'm not very creative in anything other than that, but I think food is definitely a way where you can express that creativity and bring that to the table. So yeah, I think that's what I like, especially now when you get to know your suppliers really well. They come to you with their specialities and say, look, I got amazing asparagus coming up, I got amazing truffles coming. And if you have that great bond with those suppliers and you learn a little bit about their processes and how they grow things, or the fishermen, how they catch stuff and how they process their food, that's where most of the joy comes from, I think.
I think you're really lucky when you are a chef in a restaurant, because I think you have access to all of those suppliers. And I know that we have farmers markets here, and I guess we can drive out to places and access some of those things. I know I went and visited the heirloom vegetable farm in Romsey that Joe runs, so ex-chef turned grower.
Yep.
And those vegetables are really delicious, but I feel like I've had a lot of conversations with people lately about how vegetables don't really have much flavour.
Yeah.
And I guess that's buying from supermarkets.
Yeah.
So I feel like, because my question was going to be, I lived in the south of France for a year, and the vegetables there tasted like sunlight. Is what I'm saying correct? That the ordinary people don't have access to the good vegetables?
No, 100%.
And how does produce compare here to what you're talking about over there?
I think to your first point, yes, I think a lot of people don't get access to that great produce because they buy from supermarkets, and supermarkets buy from whole suppliers who grow things in bulk. And if you go to a tomato farm who have somebody there who's specialising just in tomatoes, or you go to a fisherman who specifically only looks after this one specific thing, he doesn't buy 100 different things from everywhere, you get that specialised item. Now, that's easier for us in a restaurant. Obviously, if you're at home, you're not going to go to the tomato farm for your tomato, to the potato farm for your potato. You buy it in a one-stop shop. So yeah, you're lucky in a restaurant where you can experience that from different suppliers. And yeah, I think that the produce is definitely different in Europe. Not necessarily better. I think other things are better here. So say, for example, herbs and things like that in Europe, if you taste chervil, it's so strong, so full on. If you have a couple leaves of chervil, it will take over your whole palate. While here in Australia, you take half a bunch of chervil and you put it in a salad, you can't even really taste it, just because I don't know if it's the terroir where they grow it in, or if it's the processes or the products they use with it. I don't know exactly, but it's just, like you say, it is different there. But then other things are better here than they are in Europe. So yeah, I suppose that's also where you need to come in, as from a chef point of view, when you use produce, think about what's local, what's in season, what's well produced, and what am I going to put on a plate. For me, you know, I think it's that Anthony Bourdain quote where he says, look, we've been spoiled where people eat 365 days a year mediocre strawberries, while if you go actually look at the strawberry season, when it's grown, and you got Sunny Ridge Farm in Red Hill, some of the best strawberries I've ever tasted, even compared to Europe, but they have a very short harvest season, and that's it. So that's when you buy them, that's when you cook with them, and that's when you eat them. But other than that, there's no point for me importing oranges from California and having avocados from all over the world come to your place.
No, I mean, that's right, and that's that global village aspect, isn't it, that we've really ruined things for ourselves by having access to all of these things all year round, is that I guess our bodies need certain things that are grown at that time of the year as well, locally, but we've forgotten about all of that, and we just want to eat avocados and strawberries all year round.
Yeah.
So we're not really getting to have that treat factor as well, like, and have the absolute beautiful flavour. Yeah, it's interesting.
And that's also how I base my menus at the moment. We're sort of coming towards the end of summer, so I specifically look at what's good this time of the year. As soon as the tomatoes are out, they're coming off the menu everywhere. But when it's around, let's use it as much as we can.
What a weird time we're in now. I listened to Triple R, which is a community radio station, and in the morning they have this guy called Digger on Wednesdays who talks about gardening. Anyway, as a small thing. And anyway, he was saying that, like, it's been not a very warm summer. Everywhere else in Australia is one of the hottest summers, but here it hasn't been very warm, except now we've got this really weird thing where we've got cold mornings and extremely hot days and then cold nights again. So we're straddling two.
I think I saw Julian from Navi posting a couple of weeks ago. I think it was in January that he found his first pine mushroom in January. Yeah, that makes no sense.
No, that's it. Yeah. My partner goes mushrooming as well, and those conditions for mushrooms. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's. I mean, look, if you got a nice pine mushroom out of it,
that's right.
Go harvest and put it on the menu. But it's very strange on a 40-degree day to have something with mushrooms on it.
So then you get to you're 17, 18 by the time you get to the end of school and the end of that restaurant, whose name
we'll write down.
We'll go with. And then what happened?
So then once I finished school, I went to a 3 Michelin star restaurant in Belgium called Hof en Cleef. And
you just posted about that on Instagram. So was that like a mentor of yours that?
Yeah, so the head chef owner actually closed up shop end of last year, after, it escapes me how many years, but I think it was 30 something years in that restaurant. 3 Michelin star, the best of the best. Just everything had to be perfect. Everything was perfect from a guest point of view, but also from a working point of view. It was only perfection was good enough there.
So that begs the question: what does that say about you? Because how do you get into that as a little newbie young guy?
Apply for a job and apply for a job. I wrote him a nice email saying, look, I'm coming out of culinary school and I love your restaurant. I would love to work with you guys. So I got invited for an interview and we had a quick chat, and then they said, okay, now you can come for a 2-day trial. So 2 days in a row you come and work with us. What they don't tell you, when they have a position vacant, they invite 5 chefs all on the same 2 days, and then the best one after the 2 days gets a job.
Is it like Hunger Games?
Pretty much, yeah. You put something on the stove on a low flame, you turn around, it's on a high flame. It's people trying to stitch each other up left, right, and centre. So it does get a bit rough that way, but it's it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I was lucky enough. I got offered the position, and it was extremely hard work. We usually got there around 7, 8 in the morning, and we usually finish around 2 o'clock at night. I got paid probably the same amount of money as the rent of my apartment was that I was sharing with 8 other chefs.
Oh my God.
But it's an experience, and it's something that you do. For me, doing something like that is like going to uni for chefs. People don't get paid to go to uni. You go to uni because you want to learn a trade. Yeah. You go to work in a restaurant like that, not to get paid, but because you want to learn your trade.
Yeah.
So,
it's a good way of looking at it, for sure.
You pay your dues, and, it's hard work. The best thing about that restaurant was that they don't have a specific hierarchy in terms of chef de partie and commis. So, obviously, there's the head chef owner and then a couple sous chefs, but below that, everybody's at the same level. So, when you sign on, they say, look, realistically, you're not going to be here for more than 2 years because it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
You're going to be pretty tired by the end of those 2 years. But what we do, you start, say, in the amuse section as the commis amuse. After 3 months, you become chef de partie amuse. And then after 3 months, you become commis on the fish section. then 3 months chef de partie on the fish section, meat section, pastry, the whole
Wow.
larder, everything. And then they say if you do that for 2 years, you've seen every element of the entire kitchen. And that was definitely one of the reasons I wanted to work there, because you can learn so much from all these different areas, rather than most of these kind of restaurants. You go there and you get put in a corner and say, look, this is your corner from now, and for the however long you're going to be here, these are the dishes that you're cooking, and that's it. And you're not really going to learn that much more.
It's really generous, though, isn't it? From for the restaurant, because they obviously need to maintain their 3 stars, but they're also quite forward thinking of the future of chefs as well. It's really great. Yeah,
and for them as well, it's to make people engaged and to get people excited about, you're constantly on your toes. Finally, when you think, all right, I got it under control, well, 3 months is up and you're moving on to the next thing. So you're never really on top of things. Just when you feel like you are, you're moving on. So that was it was a gregreat place.
And is that stuff, when you're doing all of those things, do you keep notebooks, or do you like to sort of?
I always had a little small notebook in the back of my pocket. Obviously, all the recipes, you write them down for yourself and keep those, but also just little things that you pick up on that you write down, or if you have somebody using a product you haven't heard of before, or somebody using a term of something that you haven't seen before, you write it down, and then at night you go home and you Google it and you find out what it is. I mean, at that time we had all those textura products coming up, like agar and xanthan gum and all those kind of things. That was just starting up at that time, so we had a cabinet with about 50 of them. So obviously I only knew about 10. So you write them all down and you Google and you research and you find out what they're used for and how to use them and where to use them. So I think if you're going to be, as a young chef, you're going to go work somewhere amazing, it's good and you're going to learn a lot, but you need to write everything down, because otherwise, what's the point of doing it? That was one of the sous chefs there who told me, said, write everything down that you see, everything you learn, write it down. Otherwise, in 2 years from now, you're going to leave here and you're going to be the same idiot as when you came in. So,
I think it's good advice. I think teaching French, for example, it's one thing I say to students as well, is you've got to, when you're discovering things, it's just that meta thing, isn't it? Just to make, it's like writing goals down. Like, you can think them in your head, but until you write it down, it kind of formalises it, and then you've got something to refer back to. Yeah, okay. And then, what brought you here?
So after 2 years there, when I weighed about 30 kilos less than I do now, and the only thing left with weight were the bags under my eyes. I was like, all right, that's enough. Let's go travel a little bit. So I went to South America for about 6 months. Just travel around, eat the local food, go to the hostels, party, and just have a good time. And I actually met a couple of Aussie guys that I was really getting along with. So they said to me, look, if you're ever bored or you want to do something else, come around to Melbourne. So after 6 months in South America, I came back to Holland, and I thought, okay, now I'm going to start my serious life. I'm going to find a job. And I looked around, and I think 5 weeks later I booked a ticket to Melbourne, because I was like, you know what, this is not for me. Came here originally with the idea of doing 6 months in Melbourne, working, earning a bit of money, and then after that 6 months going up north, the whole Sydney to Cairns travelling thing. But it's 10 years later and I'm still here, so...
Yeah, wow. And down on the Mornington Peninsula for it.
Yeah.
Did you start off down there? Or
no, so I was always in Melbourne based.
Yeah.
Up until, I think, 2020, early, mid-COVID.
Yeah.
And then I got an opportunity to go work at Point Leo Estate. So my partner and I were looking at each other, and she works as a graphic designer, so during COVID she was able to work from home, so she didn't necessarily need to be in Melbourne. And that's when we just packed up and
it's a nice
moved
place to be down there over
it was great. No, it was amazing. It's so good. Stayed there for about 2.5, 3 years.
And senior sous chef?
Yeah, so at Point Leo Estate, senior sous chef. I was there when Phil Wood was the executive chef.
Yeah.
And Joseph Espuga was then the senior sous chef, and I was just a sous chef. And then when Phil left, Joseph moved to the culinary director role, and then I took on his position in the kitchen. So yeah.
It's such a beautiful place down there. I wrote about it Laura, when it first opened, and it's just astounding.
Yeah, it's amazing. The things a couple $100 million can't build, right? It's amazing. Like the venue's beautiful. The Gandil family is great. They love art, they love food, they love their architecture, and they build something truly amazing.
Great produce down there as well.
The peninsula is amazing in that regards, and that's especially talking to all those little suppliers. You got Harry, who has the mussels in Flinders. You got Sui in Cape Schanck, who has a little olive oil production. You got the chocolate guys down in Carrum Downs.
And did you use the Turong Farm, the flour?
Turong Farm flour. We use that. Daniel Run tomatoes. Amazing produce down there. And it's also working in a place like that where you build that relationship with those suppliers. So Bo from Wildlife Fisheries, he's just got a license to go diving, so he lives around the area. You call him up and say, I want 6 greyfish for tomorrow, puts his wetsuit on and goes diving in Port Phillip Bay. And that's where your lobsters are coming from. And then that's also the beauty of it. It creates a story for the customers as well. When they sit, and especially there at the venue, overlook the bay. So when the lobster comes to the table, you can say, look, that fish here was swimming there yesterday. And it just makes more of a round story to the guests as well. Yeah.
Have you seen the menu, the film with Ralph Fiennes? The big. It's this very. I think it came out last year or the year before, and it's all about that whole idea of the guests go to an island and they have thousands of dollars worth.
Yeah, I've seen that movie.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that when they go, there's the wee guy out.
I mean, we didn't end up actually killing each other in the kitchen, but
that's good, So, and then you were at Jackalope for a little bit. The executive chef, so that's
it's a big role.
Big role.
So after Point Leo State, I was there for about 2 years. And then I sort of, reached as much as I can reach within that company, and then Jackalope had an opportunity for an executive chef role. So that came my way, and that was great. Spend a little bit of time there, and then
So they're quite different. So they're both wineries and on the peninsula. Now you're here. What are some differences you're noticing between like Melbourne city customers and peninsula?
Well, I think...
Especially post-COVID, because it's a different...
I think post-COVID in general, everywhere, not specifically Peninsula or Melbourne, the spend per head is a lot lower. People used to go out and they get that extra caviar, they get the oysters on arrival, they do buy that expensive bottle of wine. You still get enough customers coming through, but it's just those little extras on top is a lot less now. I think you have to factor
that into your menu creation?
A little bit, you need to make sure that in terms of the menu, you still want to offer those luxury items, but just the baseline of all your dishes need to be affordable. I mean, here at Bar Carolina, yes, we're a fancier restaurant. I mean, it's not your pub grub, so you can charge a little bit more, but once you go into, for a main course, $60 plus, $70 plus dollars, it becomes more and more exclusive. And it's not that we're making money hand over fist if we charge those high prices. I mean, it's food is just expensive these days, and I think across the whole menu, food cost has gone up about 50%, and you'd need to charge 50% more. It's not that the owner is driving in a more expensive car now that we charge more for the food, but it is what it is, and most customers understand it as well, and they know what the situation is. Every now and again you have somebody who comes in and says, I was here last year and for the same thing I'm paying so much more, and all you need to say is, have you been to the supermarket lately? It's the exact same story there.
That's right.
So it is what it is, and it's a tough environment. I think dining in general is just becoming more and more exclusive. When I was years ago living in Paran, My partner and I used to go to the Smith every week and share a bottle of wine or a couple glasses of wine with a couple entrees, a main course, some sides, and maybe a dessert to share. Great food, $200, maybe $250 for the two of us, and that's it. Nowadays, if you go do the exact same thing, it's $400, $450. It really takes the fun out of going out.
So how do you? Yeah, because I spoke about that a little bit with Jake Reed down at Neptune a couple of weeks ago, and it's about accessing those people. You know, because if people are only coming out a lot less, or only on certain occasions or at the weekend, how do you get them in during the week and make it accessible?
Yeah, so I think during the week, I mean, look, our menu is pretty affordable across the board. We make sure that, especially the main courses, the pasta dishes, they're substantial enough that if you just come for that one dish, you leave the restaurant happy and satisfied. But also working with some specials. We're doing something new starting next week called Italian Icons. Every Monday night we pick one classic Italian icon. So I think the first one's going to be pasta vongole. Oh, yum. But the next one can be a really yummy traditional carbonara or a beautiful lasagna, and that will be $30, and that's it. $30 with a glass of wine that you buy separately, and that makes it still interesting for people to come out, because there's not a lot of people who can go out on a Monday night and spend a couple $100 every week. So.
No, but that makes Mondays a lot more exciting, because there's lots of places that are closed on a Monday. So that's
nice. Traditionally Mondays are pretty okay. Just I guess because a lot of restaurants are closed, but also Monday nights you get a bit more of a hospo crowd. Yeah. So your Friday, Saturday nights, it's a bit more your traditional standard people who, they're usually not that adventurous with their food. But on Mondays you actually do get the hospo crowd in, and they do drink the nice wine, and they do get the extra oysters. And I'm the same as well. I don't go out super often, but if I go out, then I get everything. Yeah. And I'm gonna splurge on whatever is available.
Yeah. So now you're in this role, this different kind of setting, and you've got a team of people. What's your leadership style? Are you you're alongside the team? Are you
yelling and screaming? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. And just that well-being aspect as well that we talk about these days. You know, like so that people aren't losing 30 kilograms and having big bags under their eyes. Obviously, there's a limit to how many hours a day people can work, but what are you all doing to look after yourselves?
So I think it starts from the top, from the ownership, from the restaurant down to the working people. So for us, it's very important that everybody has a work-life balance. The rosters I make is somewhere around 40 hours a week, max 45. Of course, every now and again, if there's an odd week out, like a couple of weeks ago we had Valentine's Day, and then on the Saturday we had a function, and Monday we launched a new menu. Yeah, a couple of people worked a couple of hours extra, but then they get compensated for that the next week. Either they get an extra day off or they get paid overtime. So I think, making a sustainable roster where you don't work 100 hours a week, that's where it starts. And then also creating an environment where the actual expectations at work are achievable. I think in a lot of places they struggle to get staff. I mean, that's not new in the hospital industry, but they don't have staff. They go from a team of 10 chefs down to 7, and they're not changing the menu. They're not changing anything in the kitchen dynamics. It's just that these 7 people are going to need to pick up the slack of 3 people not being there, and it creates so much extra pressure. I'm fortunate enough, touch wood right now, that I got enough staff here, but if I was ever in a scenario where I'm losing a couple people in the kitchen, I'll just adjust my menu and I'll just make it smaller. Yeah. And I say, look, if I don't have the staff to do it, then we just do it smaller. Yeah. Or you cap the amount of seats out the front. I mean, that's definitely not something you want to do. Yeah. But I think it's adjusting to what you have, and that's
So with all that in mind, and the fact that you've been working here for 10 years, and also in Holland, what would your advice be to young people who are thinking about becoming a chef?
Don't do it.
Don't say that.
For young chefs for young people who want to become chefs, I'd say, first of all, think about it really long and hard. It is not super glamorous, or at least not as glamorous as you might think it is. It's a lot of hard work there's good pay in it, but you're not going to become a millionaire being a chef. You're going to need to understand that you're going to give up a lot of free time in terms of birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas, New Year's Eve. It's a conscious decision you need to make that you're going to miss out on a lot of those things. But if you think about all that and you do want to do it, go for it. I would say the main advice would be go learn under a good chef in a good restaurant. A place where everything is homemade, where only the best produce gets bought, where the people who make the food love and care about the food and actually are passionate themselves, and try and learn as much from them as you can. Don't jump around from job to job to job. Pick a restaurant where you think you really can learn your craft and spend a good amount of time there. A couple of years is really good, because spending 3 months here and 6 months there, you're never really going to go to that inner circle where you actually learn anything. You always will be at the sidelines, and by the time you're actually invested, you're out. So yeah, learn your craft from somebody who's good and where they make good food. So yeah, that's, I suppose, the main thing.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Pieter Buijsse at Bar Carolina. If you liked what you heard, you can check out all the goodness on Instagram at barcarolina_STHYARRA, so South Yarra. If you'd like to hear more stories from other chefs, I'm on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef. You can read the chat and become a subscriber at www.conversationwithachef.com. I would absolutely love it if you told a friend about my chats, and of course you can follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts. I'm also on Audible and Amazon podcasts. Once again, thanks so much for listening. Have a great day and bon appetit.